Hi, my name is Frank Chapman. I'm with the Chicago Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression. We want to thank you to our program this evening. And we have a guest with us, Carolyn Ruff. How you doing, Carolyn?
Hi, how are you?
And Carolyn is going to talk to us about a couple of things. One is she's going to talk to us about the meeting that they had last night.
Right.
Where was that meeting at?
It was at the Grand High School.
Grand High School.
Yes.
And it was convened by the Progressive Caucus of the City Council.
Yep.
And it was about the proposals that are presently before the City Council for police accountability. Most of these proposals are fashioned by the mayor or people who are friendly to the mayor in terms of what he's talking about with regard to police accountability. And our proposal, which is CPAC, for the all elected, all civilian police accountability council, was also talked about at the meeting, but it's never talked about as a result of us being called upon by the city council members and being recognized as constituents or people who have in the city council also a pending ordinance called Civilian Police Accountability Council. That's ordinance number 2016 5707. Okay, you can go to the city clerk and pull it up online. All right. Now we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're also going to talk about an event that Carolyn is planning on having. What day is that going to be on, Carolyn?
September 4th.
September 4th.
At the Thompson Center.
At the Thompson Center.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk. Great. So we're going to talk about both of those things.
Yeah.
And we're going to just like have an informal conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional journalist, and
Me either.
so we're gonna do this. So let me just ask you, what impressions of the meeting last night?
Well, I thought they listened to all of the complaints regarding the police brutality here in Chicago, and I'm not saying that they're not really interested in what's going on here. I think they are. It's going to be like a Baltimore, how they came back with the report saying how prejudiced the police are there, and I think Chicago is going to be the same. Of course, they're not telling us or not really showing any kind of expression that they are really concerned about what's going on here, but I really think they are.
Okay. Well, one of the concerns raised by a number of the speakers there, including myself, is that the reason why we're having these hearings and the reason why the whole question is in front of the public the way that it is now is because of that senseless, brutal murder of Laquan McDonald, which was revealed to all of us last November. And we saw a 17-year-old child being wantonly murdered, shot 16 times, and this video had been covered up, suppressed, if you will, by the mayor for 400 days. And the city council had awarded the family, the McDonald family, a $4 million settlement, which we call hush money.
Right.
Because part of the agreement when they took the settlement was that they would not really make an issue about the video. And now we know why.
Right.
So this is why these hearings are taking place, because there has been an abuse of power in this city by the mayor as the chief executive law enforcer, and also by the city council, and also by the police board and the independent police review authority, and as well as the prosecutor. So now the people feel that they need to step in and take over. And that's what CPAC is about. It's about taking the power of appointment away from the mayor, putting it in the hands of the people, and taking all those powers away from the police board and IPRA and whatnot, and putting those powers in the hand of the people so that the police will be held accountable by an elected Civilian Police Accountability Council, which will have investigative powers, which will have the power to hire and fire, but most important of all, just to sum it up, will have the ability to say who polices our communities and how our communities are policed. Now, what was their response to that?
You mean DOJ or?
I mean the Progressive Caucus last night.
I really didn't hear a response, to be honest with you. I didn't hear
right.
no response, no nothing. It was more or less like, people were just coming up,
And venting.
expressing how the police are here in Chicago, and they really did not do a response to anything.
Right.
But like I said, me myself, I was more or less watching their body language.
Okay.
To really see how they felt about each person that was complaining about the police force here in Chicago. So, like I said, I truly think that things are going to happen here in Chicago.
Okay.
I truly think that.
Okay, well, we have a caller, so I'm going to take the caller. This is the Chicago Alliance Against Race and Political Repression.
Go back to the you.
Okay. Caller?
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing today, sir?
Very well, thank you. I'm calling to kind of ask about the citizens who would be placed on that board. How would they be selected, and how would we ensure that there's no cronyism or best friendism, or, my buddy on the block here, I'm going to get him in there too? How would we make sure that the corruption doesn't filter right back down into such an organization like a CPAC committee?
Okay, this is a question that is raised often. First of all, there would be no selection. There would be an election, and these people would have to do like you do in any democratic election. They would have to run as candidates to be elected, and they would have to be members of the community in which they're running. In other words, if they live in the 5th district, then they would have to run in the 5th district, and they would have to be voted into the council position by the people who live in that district. Now, it's a democratic process. It's not a perfect society, but democracy works better than tyranny. And what we have going on in our community right now is police tyranny. And so we are proposing this as a democratic solution. Is it a perfect solution? No. But it is a democratic solution, and it empowers people who have never been empowered before to hold the police accountable for the crimes that they commit. And what has brought us to this point is the fact that the system that we are currently living under is rotten and corrupt to the core. So this is really an anti-corruption movement that we're a part of. I don't know if that answers your question.
Like you said, I think it should be, the people should be the ones who vote their candidate in. It should be according to it should be according to, like, for instance, I live in the 49th ward or the 48th ward, so it should be according to their ward. No. And I wouldn't know what type of work that he's been doing in the community, and we have to look at all of that. We have to, they have to show us something.
Do you trust the people to do the right thing?
I trust the people to do the right thing. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I trust them. Opposed to appointing, like the mayor has been appointing people to do his dirty work so he could hide behind them, But I truly trust the people. They're sick and tired of what's going on in the city of Chicago. We went through that with Mayor Daley, and seemed like it's getting worse.
Absolutely.
So we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I think that the community should take control of what's going on in the community.
Right. Well, I'm in total agreement with you on that. And I think most of the people who were at the hearing last night would also be in total agreement. In fact, our experience, we've been working in the community for the last 4 years around this issue. We have built up a base of over 40,000 supporters. And our experience with people in the community, particularly on the southeast side and the west side, is that they want community control of the police because they feel like they should have a voice in who polices their communities and how their communities are policed. This is about democracy, people.
Exactly.
This is about democracy.
Yes.
We have an inalienable democratic right to do this. You know, it shouldn't be qualified by whether or not we'll mess it up. You know, that's not fair. You know, the results aren't in yet.
And you learn through your mistakes.
Yeah, the
too.
results
You
aren't
know,
in yet.
we're
We
not
haven't even done this yet.
Right.
So what we're saying is, give the people the democratic right that they have under the Constitution to control who polices their communities and how their communities are policed. You know, let's have that, and then work it out from there, and let the people work it out. I mean,
Right.
this is democracy.
Right.
In democracy, you have to trust the people. You know. Now, is there any such thing as this being corruption proof or no? Nothing is corruption proof. But that should not be the standard by which we judge this. You know, whether or not it's corruption proof, because the people who are raising that question are the people who've been doing corruption.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're right.
so they know that Chicago politics is corrupt,
It's
right?
corrupt, right.
So they're asking us, a movement that's against this corruption, are we going to be corrupt too? Well, we haven't got the power yet. So let us have the power. Well, we ain't asking you to let us have it. We're going to take the power because we have a democratic right to do that as well.
And trust us. I mean, you know, that's what Chicago is all about is trust. So trust us to do your work that you want us to do.
Well, they've been asking us, speaking on this question of trust, they've been asking us to trust the people who created the problem.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we're being asked to trust the police. We're being asked to trust the city council. We're being asked to trust the mayor.
Right.
Because the problem and the solution proposals are coming from the same source. You know, the mayor created this problem to begin with, in terms of the Laquan McDonald case, by his suppression of evidence. So how would we expect him to be the solution?
Exactly. He's not the solution. The mayor isn't the solution.
Right.
In fact, the mayor need to resign because he definitely have blood on his hand. I was looking at, listening to how they did Phil O'Neill, you know, case, and how the police shot him in the back, and he's still working, you know, and taxpayers are still paying for a murder cop. You know, he executed this young man, you know. All of our children that's getting killed by the police are being executed, you know, simple as that. And that's how I feel, you know. And as far as our young people killing each other, I truly believe that there's something else to this killing for our young people to be doing this. I truly believe that, and it could be stopped. You know, they should look at the cameras and see who's doing this. They could do that. That's why we have all of these cameras, right?
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, we saw on camera years ago Flint Farmer lying on the ground, face down, and shot in the back by the police and killed. And we also saw Anita Alvarez, the state's attorney, refusing to prosecute the police, even though there was clear, unmistakable video recorded evidence. In fact, the camera was on the dashboard of the police car that recorded it. So this is really something that we have to trust the people to solve.
Exactly.
Because we see that the mayor and the state's attorney and the city council, that they have not had the political will to do anything about this.
No.
And so we are relying on the people to step forward and bring about a solution to this problem, a democratic solution to this problem. And that's why we are asking you out there and everyone watching this program to support CPAC, to support an all-elected, all-civilian Police Accountability Council. It's now in the City Council. It's a proposed ordinance. It's in the Safety Committee. We don't want it to die in committee. So this means that you have to ask your alderman to call in and say that he supports this legislation or to sign on as a sponsor. Let me rephrase that. You have to call your alderman and demand that he become a sponsor to this legislation, because this is our democratic right. We have to get out of the thinking that we're asking for something. You don't ask for your democratic rights. You demand them. Because if the government is not standing behind our democratic rights, then it don't deserve to stand over us.
Right.
You know?
And why do they want our votes?
Yeah.
You know, that's the only time they
Exactly.
use us or think, you know, we are human people, but they don't think that we are, except for when it's election. And they be begging us, and they come to these different churches to beg for our votes. And then after that, we don't see them anymore.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's just a corrupt system, you know.
And it's not going to change unless we change it.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yes. It's not going to change unless we change it. Okay, I want to talk to you about some other things. You also are planning on having a demonstration on September the 4th?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
It's going to be a rally. The rally starts at 4 o'clock, and at 5:30 we're going to demonstrate. And we're demonstrating not only for Chicago, but for Milwaukee.
Okay.
We're demonstrating for all of the police brutality, for jobs, for jobs, and we're also demonstrating that our children be educated. So we're demonstrating the education, like it was how many people were laid off this year. I think 5,000 teachers and staff.
Right.
1,000, let me correct that, 1,000 altogether. You know, so we're definitely we're demonstrating that to let the world know that education is so important to our children.
Right.
And the money is in the house. You know, they're saying that we don't have money to fund these different schools, but I truly believe we do have it, because, you know, we're coming up with all of these other different programs and that we never see take place.
Okay. Well, could you say a little bit about who we are, like who are the people that are calling this demonstration?
Black Lives Matter, Women are Faith.
Okay.
So it's myself, Carolyn Ruff, and LaShawn Latrice.
Okay, great.
We got together and we said we have to do something.
Absolutely.
We have to demonstrate, and we're not only for our children. We definitely want our children to support this. I want all the parents to come out and support this. Let the children know that we stand behind them. Let the teachers know that we stand with them. Not only that, we're police brutality, the violence in our community. We want that to stop. You know.
Okay.
We want to get out there and get acquainted with our young people, you know, because I think that's the key. Once they know that we're behind them, not killing though, but we're their friends. You don't have to kill, you know. So we definitely want to really get to know our community and support our community. You know, if they need anything, we should be there for them, you know. You know, so I'm looking for a big crowd to come out and support this. I have a special speaker from Dayton, Ohio. His name is Reverend Dr. Jerome McCory, and he marched with Martin Luther King back in the 60s. You know,
Okay.
he was in college then, but yes, he had a chance to march with him, along with Al Sharpton, along with Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Okay.
And so the Reverend Jesse Jackson would be one of the guest speakers if he's in town, you know.
Okay. Well, give us the date again.
September 4th,
Okay. And where is it going to be?
Thompson Center, 100 West Randolph,
And what time?
4 o'clock.
Okay. Great.
So I truly encourage everyone to please come out and support this event. It's going to be a strong event, and it's going to be an event that the world is going to see that we mean business here in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, we look forward to that, and the Chicago Alliance Against Race and Political Repression will definitely be there to support you.
Thank you.
We want to just mention a couple of other things here before we go off the air, and that is that there have been 5 hearings on police accountability called by the Progressive Caucus of the City Council. Tomorrow there will be a hearing, expert testimony on the same issue, and to the best of our knowledge, now these dates may change, but on September the 21st, we believe that the mayor will be coming before the full session of the City Council to introduce proposed legislation to hold the police accountable. As far as we're concerned, this legislation has nothing to do with holding the police accountable. What this legislation is about is furthering the cover-up of police crimes in this city by not changing anything as far as the mayor's power to appoint, as far as the investigative powers and whatnot not being in the hands of the people. It changes nothing. And so we're asking you to come down on the 21st at 10 a.m. in the morning and support us in calling for the mayor to not put this legislation in, but to enact CPAC. Of course, the mayor can't enact it, but if he's going to support something, support the people's right to control who polices their communities and how their communities are policed. Because that trust was put into his hands and he abused it. It was put into the hands of the city council and they abused it. So they have forfeited their right to call the shots here. You know, we the people are demanding that we be given that right. You know, that is our democratic right, and that the city council, if they want to really do the right thing, then they should support CPAC. Now, currently we have 8 aldermen who are supporting it. The bill was introduced on July the 20th by Carlos Rosa, and it will be supported by a number of other aldermen. Right now we have 7 more in addition to Carlos Rosa. Tony Folks supports it, Emma Mitz supports it, Maldonado supports it, Sue Garza supports it, and Power supports it. So there are a number of aldermen who are presently supporting it, 8 to be exact, and we need about 18 more to have a simple majority. And after we get that simple majority, we probably need to fight for at least 3 more aldermen to overcome a veto. So this is going to be a long struggle, and all we're doing now is just drawing up the battle lines. But we're definitely going to continue to fight for CPAC until we get it. This movement is not going to go away, you know, until we get the power in this city to have a say in who polices our communities and how our communities are policed. You have anything?
And I truly think CPAC is a strong organization. So I encourage our young people to please join CPAC. I encourage anyone that want to see things done correctly in Chicago to join CPAC. Come on board with us. We're fighting for you. We're fighting for your children. We're fighting for the community. So please come on board with us and join us.
And I just want to make a couple of comments since we still have more time. That okay, I want to wrap it up with a couple of comments, and that is that this movement really began back in 1968 with Fred Hampton and Mark Clark, the Black Panther Party, calling for community control of the police. Those were the first martyrs of this struggle because they were murdered in their bed by the police. So we want to pay honor to them always. And so this is not a struggle that just started a few years ago, a few months ago. It didn't start with Michael Brown. It didn't start with none of the uprisings that are currently going on in Baltimore, Louisiana, and throughout our country. It started with a movement for people's power back in the 60s, and we are proud to continue that movement today. And we ask all of you to call our number, Chicago Alliance Against Racial and Political Repression, area code 312-939-2750. Please call that number, and we will be happy to talk to you about whatever it is you want to talk about regarding police crimes and how to build this movement against it.
And we also send our condolences to the Curry family. We lost George Curry, and we want to send our condolences.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Join us this time next week. Bye.